So let me speed on to the next question. It says, is your imagination your soul? Now, the reality here is that we have two terms here. We have the term that's called the spirit, and we have a term that's called the soul. And often these are actually interchangeable for one another in occultism these days in metaphysics. However, one was clearly distinguished as one, that the soul is actually, well, both of these actually are really confused, because the soul actually refers to one, right? Like, so we would say in this context that it's all of the spirits all combined in one. And we'll go for that right now. That has a tendency to be the cognate of the sun, as Latin in the sun is soul. Right. And then we have the spirit, which seems to be the individualized form. Once you break a piece of the soul off, you get spirits. And each of these spirits are actually existing and coexisting together, but still feeling they're separate. OK, and this actually is correspond to the left side of the brain, which they call the I-ness. Right. And this I-ness discovery in its most purest form was discovered when separating the two halves of the brain, which has already been done. People who experience seizures consistently had to go through medical treatments in the past of actually separating the two hemispheres of the brain. They've done that. There's research on that. And what they found is that the left hemisphere seems to be really where the person's identity, the I, the one, is actually contained. And it speaks from that level. This is how I'm feeling. Versus the right side of the brain seems to be much more abstract and connected to an everything or an all, and seems to have almost no awareness of just being an I, and only speaks as a collective and refers to things as such. So with that being said, to answer your question, is the imagination your soul? I would say if imagination means the image nation, meaning the nation means we're all sharing it, absolutely. The imagination is the collective build, or what we would say is the hive co-creation of what we're experiencing now. But unlike what most people think, that it's gaseous, that you don't actually see it, that the imagination is not real, we find that actually everything around us is particleized to a certain degree, not necessarily static or solid, but when you phase into it via resonance, it becomes a foundation. This means that in your consciousness, this is what you say, this is what I know about. This is a chair, this is a desk, this is my family, this is the earth, this is the ground. And we feel so strongly about that it is what it is. And we do that collectively, and that's how we do amazing things as collective. And we should always draw upon that power. Our ancestors have been able to do exemplary things that are even difficult for us to do now in the I-ness kind of reality that we live in now. Back in the days, it was all collective. Everything came from the collective. So when the tribe all honed in their energy, especially into a focal point, that was accomplished easy. And this was their technology, which is a little bit different than the technology that we use right now, but nonetheless, either equally as powerful, but what we feel is even of a greater power, right?